Good morning, entrepreneurs. We are back. Welcome to the Non-Corporate Network, the worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. You are watching Entreprenews. My name is Chaz Vandemotter. I'm joined by my co-host,
Dustin Trout.
And we are here to bring you the top 6 trending small business stories. We're going to debate them for 3 minutes each. We're going to go toe to toe. They're going to hand me over the belt. I'm going to raise it above my head like Rocky Balboa. We'll all celebrate and then we'll get back to work and get after it.
Dreaming.
Dreams become a reality when you manifest them into your life like I've been doing. Anything else you want to add before we get started there, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, audience, where do you consume content? I bet you can find us there. We're pretty much everywhere. Every podcast channel, you can go on to YouTube. You can check us out on anywhere online. So appreciate you tuning in.
Check out the podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, a million other places. Entreprenews. Check us out. We really appreciate it. Tell an entrepreneur about us. That's
Please.
your toll. That's your toll for staying woke this morning. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first story here. Amazon to hold Prime Day event on October 13th through 14th. Us e-commerce people know all about Prime Day. Amazon said Monday it would hold its annual shopping event, and it aims for an early kickoff to the holiday season. They're banking on October 13th and 14th being close enough to Christmas that we're going to get some Christmas shopping going on. They're investing over $100 million into promotion for this event. Over the last 5 years, they've done over $7 billion in revenue on Prime days alone. So what, like 5 days total? And so it's pretty impressive, the numbers that they have as it relates to this. I mean, they've got over 112 million Prime subscribers alone. And they sold, I believe, over 1 million units last year on Prime Day. Just different things that were on the market. So Dustin, my question to you is, with all of the craziness, all of the remote, all of the technology coming into our lives, is e-commerce going to knock retail off this year, especially with Prime Day and just the holiday season shopping in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of doing more e-commerce wise. I mean, I don't know if it'll overtake it, but it's going to close the gap quite a bit. I mean, Amazon, they're eyeing this as prime opportunity, pun intended. That people are staying in, people are getting on technology now. You got to invest now to make that transition. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't used to buying online and stuff like that. And so if you can get them to purchase for the first time,
right,
see that it's a seamless process, you're going to get more people adopting to this way of shopping. And so I think there's going to be some major headway made in terms of taking market share compared to in-store retail.
Right.
I mean, Walmart's going to be eyeing it. I mean, Amazon's going to be eyeing it. I mean, everyone that sells online, as you mentioned, $100 million invested.
Yep.
I mean, over the course of 5 days, it's a sweet little budget to work with.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for them to take the holiday market share. So it'll be interesting to see. What do you think?
It's strategic. They keep moving the date up, right? Like it started at Black Friday. It was like Cyber Monday was after Black Friday. And so it was very close to the holiday season. And what I'm assuming, Dustin, is that they think that if they bring it up even further, they're still going to capitalize on a lot of revenue generated with discounted prices, so that by the time that Black Friday and we get into November rolls around, they're going to be able to charge full price and people are still going to be buying. And so I think there's some kind of calculation going on there. But looking at the numbers between e-commerce and brick and mortar retail has fallen by over 14%, but it's still at over $4.1 trillion a year. Compare that to a rise by 18% in e-commerce, and we're at $709 billion. So This is apples and oranges. Retail will win. They're going to crush them. And yeah, it's going to continue to grow on the e-commerce side, but I mean, I think we forget about the blue collar people out here in the United States that would rather go in and don't want to use a computer, and they're going to equate for a lot of this in-person revenue.
Yep.
Well, getting to our next story. Future of American jobs is taking care of the elderly. There's a story that's come out with job predictions by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics in which they're estimating some of the fastest growing job segments between 2016 and 2026. They expect over 750,000 additional jobs to be created in the gig sector. And some of the industries are surprising. They're expecting over 750,000 jobs to be created by personal care aides. And then kind of going down the line here, we've got food preppers, registered nurses, home health aides, software developers, janitors and cleaners, operations managers, laborers and movers, medical assistants, and wait staff, all projected to be getting over 200,000 jobs or close to it over the next 10 years. So Dustin, any of these stand out to you that you're more excited about? And how do you see the gig economy continuing to evolve with these new job roles coming out?
No, I think obviously the medical space, there's going to be huge headway there, but not so much on surgeons or something or anything like that, but more physical therapists and just x-ray technicians, nurses and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, it's we've talked a lot about AI and technology taking jobs, but I mean, it's the beauty of evolution. As things close down, other things open up. I mean, the baby boomer population it's a huge generation, which I mean, they're going to need taken care of. That's going to create real estate opportunities. I mean, as you mentioned, that gig economy, and I think more and more people will reach into this gig economy rather than having full-time employees. It's more on-demand services. But I mean, it's going to create a lot of opportunities. I mean, is there a particular industry that you're seeing that's poised for growth through this?
I mean, just looking at the stats, they're talking about 750,000 people being personal care aides, and then the next highest is at less than 600,000, 580,000 for food preppers and servers. And so this really kind of blows my mind that they're substantially larger as it relates to personal care aides. And like you said, baby boomers, it goes with the trends here. We're going to need more in that area. It'll be interesting, man. Like nowadays, you don't have to have a W-4. You just go and get a job by downloading an app. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of personal care apps, and they unbundle this whole broken system of nursing homes. And so I think we're going to be on the front lines to see this change.
What I'm excited for, and I didn't see that stat in there, is the personal assistant. I think, we talk a lot about how technology is removing the need to be around people. But what this is going to do is put two different generations together between, the elderly along with, someone that's helping them out. And so there's going to be a lot of knowledge and wisdom transfer there. I think we're going to see a lot of opportunities that might come up in terms of just overall happiness.
I agree. Tuesdays with Maury, man. It's a great book. That's a great book. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah. Only time will tell, as Dustin would say. Getting into our next story, entire football team at Cactus Shadows High School quarantined after COVID-19 outbreak. I guess there was 4 people, 2 players, 2 staff that tested positive for coronavirus, and now they are quarantining the entire 50-person football team. The Maricopa County or Cave Creek Unified School District came out and said that the number of coronavirus cases on campus meets the Maricopa County Health Department's criteria for an outbreak. Dustin, does this worry you, seeing high schools being infected and having to close back down? Do you think that we should be going back to school? Do you think this is a second wave? What do we think about this?
Well, I mean, don't think there's a second wave. I mean, look at the numbers quite frequently, and we're still on a downward trend. But it does worry me that schools could get closed again. I mean, I know that there, a lot of people that could be infected or affected by this, but I mean, at the end of the day, what I worry about more is what is the mental health of these children that aren't able to go out and be around others and have that social experience. I mean, it's not just going out to recess, but there's a lot of social skills that are used as an adult, in the school setting. And a lot of people are missing out on that. Now, I know there's going to be, teachers that might be impacted, students that might be impacted, but I think this is where it's an education system. Let's sit at the table and think, there's going to be a handful of students that can't go to the school because they have autoimmune diseases or whatever that may be. Maybe we do virtual learning for them, but make it more of a hybrid model. Yeah. But I do think that, there's more detriment that's going to be done by closing the schools down in terms of long-term mental health on the students rather than the immediate, health of everyone. I mean, you don't want anyone impacted in a negative way, but I think, it's just going to take some critical thinking, which is what the school system is for. But I mean, What are your thoughts? You think we should be shutting down or?
Yeah, you make a lot of good points. I mean, it's hard to say, hey, let's go sit down and look at your laptop as an 8-year-old all day like that. It's just, that's not how we do things. And so, we want to be sensitive to our teachers. We want to be sensitive to people that are at risk. And I mean, there has to be precautions taken. One of which being that if we're going to have outbreaks on the football team because they're in close quarters, then how are we going to have 30-person classrooms set up where people are sitting shoulder to shoulder? So I don't know if it takes more teachers. I don't know if it takes bigger classrooms or if you move to the auditorium so you can sit with seats in between you. But I mean, we have to make it a priority to take care of the teachers, take care of the staff, and try to mitigate this in any way possible. I mean, whether it's doing the temperature checks, I mean, things like that just should be standard at this point. Because, we obviously can't trust the kids to know if they have it or if they're feeling sick. They just go to school, their parents make them, they got to go to work. So it's one of those things where, take the precautions now and, we won't have to suffer the outbreak.
Yeah. But I mean, it just goes back to, I mean, you worry about, people being infected, but it's, I think if you take a step back and it's how many, let's realistically look, how many people have underlying conditions could be impacted, for the most part. How can we create an opportunity for them to continue the education? And like I said, I think it would be a hybrid of online and in class, being mindful of who could be infected and not. Yeah.
I mean, I think that we also need to follow the example of like what college campuses are doing. They're pouring a lot more money into understanding how this is going to work compared to high schools. But, definitely got some cool colleges in our backyard like ASU. They're doing some interesting stuff. So, but yeah, I'll tell you who else is doing some interesting stuff is State 48. We are powered by State 48. They're an amazing company based out of Arizona. And, they just do a lot for the community. They do a lot to bring awareness to amazing nonprofit organizations and really just spread the good word about businesses that are out here and that are doing things to promote our community. But Dustin, you have anything you want to mention about State 48 other than they keep you dripping?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're doing a lot for the community. In fact, they actually just opened up State 48 foundation that is meant to help and serve nonprofits. And so they're just doing a lot for the community. It's hard to find someone that is passionate about what they're doing. They're passionate about fashion and creating clothing for all that's inspired by Arizona, but also knowing the impact of having a nice, tight knit community. And so they're helping on both fronts. So make sure to check them out.
State48.com. Full of puns, tight knit. I mean, these guys on it today. Man.
Got a couple weeks on me, Dad. I gotta be practicing these. So going on to our next story. So Seattle approves minimum pay rate for Uber and Lyft drivers. The Seattle City Council passed a minimum pay standard for drivers. For companies like Uber and Lyft, drivers will now earn at least $16.39 per hour. The minimum wage in Seattle for companies with more than 500 employees. So they fall right in under this. They're replicating a model after New York, which aims to reduce the amount of time drivers are spending cruising without passengers by paying drivers more during those times. City officials argue that this should prevent Uber and Lyft from oversaturating the market at drivers' expense. So really, it's you're kind of forcing a minimum wage. You're changing the way the employees or subcontractors get paid. I mean, what are your thoughts? Is this good for Uber? Is this good for the drivers? What are your thoughts?
I'm not buying into this one, Uber and Lyft. I'm not, I think that, this can be framed as, wow, 16, whatever an hour, like they're getting paid a lot. I mean, think about moving to Uber. And then you start thinking and unpacking the fact that, this is going to be something where they're not being they have to pay their own taxes. So remove 20% from that minimum wage. They're going to have to pay their own health insurance, remove another 10% from that wage. And you're also seemingly, and again, I don't know all the nuts and bolts of this policy, but from what it sounds like, they're going to be forced to be on the road at certain times, which again is kind of towing the line of what a 1099 versus a W-2 or W-4 does. And so I just look at this and I think, this is a headline that is very misleading. Also, we talked about they may not even be getting paid during their downtime. I mean, and if there's an oversaturation in the market, more people are competing for the rides that are few and far between right now with COVID. We're talking about people sitting there for 3 hours getting one ride and getting paid only $16 an hour for the 20 minutes that they drove. And again, I don't know if they're getting paid while they're in downtime or when they're not riding people, but I mean, this is significantly lower. You're taking 30% out of that cut and you're already at $11.20 an hour. It's like, that's already below minimum wage in some of those states.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much from the time people get the ride to they drop them off. That's the time in which you're getting that 16 something an hour. But you're not getting paid during the time you're just sitting there waiting to get called. I mean, my big thing is, I see lawmakers trying to help, the drivers, but the market needs to be the market, and play itself out. If there's not enough opportunity for the drivers, you're going to have less people doing it. If, Uber or Lyft aren't paying them well, you're going to have people leave. And I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of regulation coming in and saying you have to do it this way. It's at the end of the day, if they're cruising around making money and that's hurting profits for Uber and Lyft, right, they're going to change their rules. If people are, if they change the rules to where it replicates this and drivers are getting upset, you're going to have people leave, but at least the market will define itself, which I'm a huge fan of.
I talked in California about doing the cash stipends for health insurance, and I don't think that's going well either. So,
yeah. Yep. So on to our next story. U.S. Expected to sue Google next week as the Department of Justice seeks support from states. The lawsuit is expected to accuse Google of looking to disadvantage rivals such as Microsoft's Bing by depriving them of the data about users and user preferences that they may need in order to improve their advertising. They're also investigating how paid search is shown, altering the results based off of your location, your preferences, and all that, which that's really Google's main selling point is we bring results that are relevant to you. But that's essentially at the core of this lawsuit. The lawsuit claims that Google is deciding what shows up. It goes presidential debates and all that. What president is bad? Donald Trump is bad. I mean, whatever it may be, they're altering what is shown and stuff like that. But really, the argument is, should Google be sharing their data with Bing and their competitors? And should they be held liable for manipulating the search results?
This has been a conversation for years, and they've continued to slide by. The antitrust was just another opportunity for them to slide by. There's fundamental problems here, Dustin. It's one thing if they're not the only search company that's out there. I get there's other search companies out there, but they are a monopoly of search. And so, I think that there are certain standards that have to be kept across the board of any search company that has ad platforms. And, they are altering the results. And so this is something where they're taking content, making it their own, disarming people that put that content up. Like, these are all very manipulative things that have been confirmed. So I don't know why this hasn't happened sooner, but, there needs to be a precedent set here because they've just been allowed to run wild with a monopoly in the search game for, 10 years, it seems like.
We were discussing a little bit before this, but I think the biggest thing is just having that transparency and why the results were shown to you. I think, it's their core business on the search results and what they're showing. They've built their business on bringing the most relevant content to you. People obviously love it. They own 65-70% of all search results or searches that are done on search engines. So, people are a fan of it, and it's, that's what they built their business on. And if we're upset about the results that are being shown, it's more so, let's show them why they're being shown this. And if it is in a manipulative way, then yeah, I think there's something there. But I think the thing that really just rubs me the wrong way is should they be sharing their data with Bing and other competitors? Like, to me, if they've invested billions into R&D to make their algorithm that much better to collect this data and all that, why should they share that with their competitors? Why can't their competitors, invest as much money as them and figure it out essentially? I don't know. I do hear the manipulation and you could swing an election. That's usually the hot topic of why we're talking about this, but
you're a platform or a publisher, Dustin. We ask this question all the time. You're a platform or a publisher. You're both, then you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing something illegal if you were both.
Yeah. So we'll see what comes out from that lawsuit. So going to our final story, bringing it back here to Phoenix. So there's a local Phoenix entrepreneur that has created an app called RexPay to cure the medical bill mayhem. It's an app where patients can pay for their medical bills all in one place. It did launch November of 2019 and is helping alleviate the pain points and stress when it comes to paying medical bills. The app was created in 2018. So it took them about a year to actually launch it. But the creator went through something in 2016 where she basically had 38 bills over 11 providers, which cost a total of $10K out of pocket. And she had to pay late fees, and she got, went to collections because she didn't get the mail. She moved, and it's just chaos. Literally what the story is about. So her whole goal is to make it a more seamless process, get more insight into what you're actually paying for. With that, people are going to be paying more of their bills, which then brings more revenue to the hospitals and healthcare providers. So it should ultimately bring down the cost of healthcare. Really, that's the whole point or reason why healthcare is so expensive is you have a lot of people that just don't pay their bills, don't know what to pay. They have a lot of unpaid bills, so it has to bring up the cost to pay for that. So really, is this just another medical app that's going to come and go, or do you think this, is poised to really change the industry?
I'd love to see it succeed. Obviously, we want to support our Phoenix entrepreneurs, and I think that it's obviously a big problem, a dual-sided problem. You've got people that are patients that. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, is this ever going to go well? Are we ever going to be able to pay a medical bill without having, 10 layers of BS to go through to get it done? And so, I think that we feel that pain, people getting taken to collections, having their credit scores affected, didn't know that they had a bill that was left unpaid. These are issues that really can affect people. So I think obviously the consumer and the patient is feeling this pain. Obviously the business is feeling the pain because they're losing money because the billing is done poorly and not in a way that is easy for the patient to fulfill. I mean, you make it an e-commerce platform, you talk about this is where it's going. And so sending me a bill 3 months later that I've already forgotten I even went or I moved and now I never get the bill. These are the problems that are causing this industry to just tank and be a terrible experience on both sides. So needs to happen. The other thing to think about too, Dustin, is the policy reform over the next 4 years as it relates to the Medicare stuff and all of the healthcare plans, because maybe this becomes something that isn't privatized anymore, and hey, who knows what's going to happen. Yeah. So you will see, but I think there's a risk there.
Yeah, no, I think something needs to be done. I mean, it's mentioned have a little one on the way, and it's going through the whole process. It's like. Yeah. We get statements, oh, you underpaid because we billed wrong, you got to pay. And then the next statement we get, we have a credit because they billed wrong again. And it's chaotic. And then you get caught with the, you move and you don't get those. And it could impact a lot of opportunities. I mean, if it goes on too long and people's credits are affected, it could impact the housing industry. I mean, because now they can't get approved on a loan or whatever it may be. But I think there's a lot of opportunity. It'd be awesome to see an Arizona company come in and help change the industry. Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, and looking back on the stories, Google, they need to have a bigger slap on the wrist than, don't do it. Don't do that. And then that's all they've done so far. Don't do corrupt stuff, Google, but you go ahead and leave and do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And so I think, hopefully we can set a precedence here. Again, platform versus publisher. If you're meddling in both of those ponds, then you are doing something illegal. I truly believe that. It's happened with Facebook and a lot of these other big companies, and need to get this sorted out. So, power to the people on that one, Dustin. But what's your favorite here?
Absolutely. Mine is Amazon and the Amazon Day, Amazon Prime Day. I'm excited to see e-commerce surpass retail at some point. I think this year is going to be a huge
there's going to be a
closing
shift.
Of the gap. Yeah.
I will give you, there will be a shift for sure. Yep. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, Entreprenews, we appreciate you. You're checking us out on Facebook or YouTube. You guys are awesome. Send us any stories that you find that you want to have us debate. We're happy to do it. And check us out at ncnbroadcast.com. If you have a show or a message you want to bring, we have resources to help you distribute that, and we want to help you. So reach out to us there. Dustin, you have anything you want to mention?
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we would greatly appreciate it if you told another entrepreneur.
Tell an entrepreneur, stay woke. We appreciate you guys. Get after it. Entrepreneurs are going to make this country great. So continue to grind, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
See you guys Friday.